non-fat guy friendly setup you have.
Are you kidding me?
You have a lot of skinny people on your podcast, and you've got to.
I expected your belly to be bigger.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
I get that a lot.
I'm sure it's like the optical illusion. When I want a picture with you so bad because I do that same thing.
Yeah.
When I first saw you do that on the show, I was like, I do that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like it's freaky because I'm like this tiny human and I can pop my belly out
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
big.
Yeah.
And so when I saw you do that, I was like, yes.
That's my number one thing that people say to me is like, "Oh, you're not as fat as I thought you were going to be."
Is that oh my God, I can't believe I said that to you.
No. It's like, thank you, I guess. It's like a backhanded compliment.
Not to toot my own horn, but so many people come up to me and they're like, oh, you're better looking in person. And I'm like, same thing, same
Don't say
reaction.
that. Think it.
So
Don't
that
say
is
it.
the number one. I thought the number one thing people would say to you is, Larry!
Oh, no, that's the number one, hands down.
Yeah.
Number one.
That's
yeah,
how I was going to
for sure.
start the podcast,
Yeah,
but now I feel stupid.
No, I get that all the time.
I hate being predictable, but we're starting. So, Larry!
There you go.
Oh my gosh, do people like, wait, are you on Cameo?
Yes. Yes, I am on Cameo.
Do people, is that like the number one thing where they're like, can you say Larry to my friend?
Yeah, no, it's really people always, they list like there's the part where it says what do the people like know about you, and everyone like 9 out of 10 says they love your Larry bit or whatever. I don't really scream it, and I've screamed it enough.
It's like that. It's your overdone bit, but I have teardrops tattooed on my fingers so that you can do this. And it's like funny like a few times, and then but like this has been on my fingers for like 18 years now. It's not funny anymore.
No, it made a comeback though, right? For a while, it was like 6 years. It was funny. Then it stopped being funny for 2 years, and it made a comeback.
So that is I also like that kind of humor, like Family Guy, where they just like beat a dead horse to the point where you're like, the chicken fight? I'm still laughing at this, and then you're like, is this okay? And then you're like, oh shit, it's still
back,
going.
for sure.
It's so funny. I love it. I love comedy. I have to say, Murr was on my podcast a couple years ago, and promised me I could come on the show, and literally tweeted it.
Murr.
I know. And then nothing. He ghosted me.
I ghosted you, Murr. How dare you?
Ghosted me. Is it weird when people also say to you, because it happens to me too, where when I was on the show, they're like, I fall asleep to you every night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm just saying all the typical things too.
I've had people say, because there's a comfort level because you get this more than anybody. You're you, right, on the show. Like we weren't playing a character. I'm Joe. Like I wasn't like Chandler from Friends. Like I was me. So people would just have like no filter, whatever, and people would be like, "Oh, I had sex to your voice."
No.
I met one couple.
Isn't that funny?
I met one couple that they just had a baby, and he told me that we were on when they conceived the baby, and then they were watching Jokers while she was delivering because she got induced and they had to wait. So they had Jokers on the TV show, and when it was on when the baby came out, he's like, "You've been part of this baby's life more than I have."
For real. And did they name the baby Joe?
No, they didn't.
Rude.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's odd.
That's actually really rude. I still do, but I was like a religious watcher where my producer and I were just talking about this, how we would get up, turn it on, have it on during the day because they would play it back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Where I'm pretty sure I probably asked Murr this, but I forget his answer. When you guys start doing it that often and the show becomes as big as it is, don't people recognize you in the streets? And then they're like, do people pretend that they don't know just to be on the show?
Yeah, I'm like, they try, but
you're like, I know you did.
Yeah, because we see people on camera way before. Like they're on camera. We're looking in the back scene who we're going to pick out, and we see people like if Sal was working behind like a burger joint, and he's behind the counter, you'll see somebody go. And they'll walk out, like try to be human. They're like, one cheeseburger, please. Like it's like what's going on.
That would be me. If I saw one of you guys while filming, I'd be like, and I'd be like, trying to get in the shot. Like, pick me. I have pick me energy in on the show.
New York happens that is an ally because there's just so many people there.
That's
when you do that, like it's like there's 8 million people. If half the people don't know you, that's 4 million people to pick from. So it's like
true.
When we got out of New York, it was a little trickier. I remember one time we were filming at a in Jersey. We were filming at this. We wanted to play gas station attendants. We filmed at this gas station, and then word got around that we were there, and like everybody that pulled up was doing that. They were like, unleadedly, and we were like, so we literally the day was like almost wasted. It was like we can't. And I think like the 4 turns you see are like the 4 people that didn't know us all day, and everybody else just had to get rid of. Yeah,
isn't that funny? Because you're like, well, we've made it. We did what we were supposed to do, and now it's becoming a problem.
We also shot ourselves in the foot.
And he said it took 11 years to sell the show.
11 years to sell the show?
That's what he said.
No, we were trying to we started in 1999 doing comedy together, and then we didn't sell the show. We didn't film till 2011. So, but we weren't just trying that show. We were trying other things, and then we stumbled upon our
Look, this is where I blame my podcast producer because I swear that's what I heard too. And
he might have said that.
No, but she was like, you just glossed over the fact that they took 11 years to sell a show. And I was like, is that what he said?
Yeah, well, 11 years to sell to get on TV for sure.
Well, that's still crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. We were doing it as like a side hustle. We liked comedy, liked making people laugh. So we were doing it that way. And then eventually finally found a format that worked. Like we tried a sketch comedy show that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then we just said, let's put on cameras about how like we make each other laugh. And that's what really just sparked it.
It's funny because I remember watching it and going, why didn't I do this with my girlfriends?
For sure.
I bet a lot of people
Everybody
thought that
says
too.
Yeah, because everybody's got a friend, like, and we remind each other of people's friends. Everybody's got a Sal, or a Q. You know, nobody has a Mur. Mur's ours.
Nobody has a Mur.
But
Nobody has
a Mur. It's a format. The show's about friendship more than anything, I think.
So, do you guys did you come up with a lot of the concepts, or was that because obviously you have a team involved too that makes TV?
Well, we didn't in the beginning.
You didn't?
No, like first season, I called White Castle to let us film there. Like I was on the phone with them. We were the location producer. There was 8 people working on the show.
I love that you guys believed in it so much that you're like, even the network isn't going to throw us a premiere party. Like we got to throw it for ourselves.
Premiere party,
That's so funny.
Me and Murray went and found a hotel, and then they didn't have they didn't have True TV at the hotel, so we had to buy it for a day from Comcast to come and do it.
Stop.
So they installed. I swear to God, they installed it for a week. We had to buy a week package that they would put True TV, so we could stream the show in the lobby.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so we did
that. You ever think it would get to this level?
No.
Because some people, like, I knew personally I was going to be on television. I knew from a young age, I was like, somehow I'm going to make my way onto reality television. I'm going to, but sometimes you don't know, but I'm sure, you know, when you guys started, you're like, this is a hilarious concept.
Yeah.
People are going to love it.
It felt like lightning in a bottle a little bit when we were laughing, and then we realized we were just genuinely laughing at each other, and we like kind of forgot the cameras were on.
Yeah,
and that's always a good sign where you're like,
yeah.
Oh, because I always say, like, all throughout our career, or just me personally too, when I'm making people laugh, and when you watching somebody have a good time, you have a good time. It's infectious.
It's
so
true.
Even if you're just having fun, people are going to want to watch it. You're not trying. You're not.
It's
you
like
know,
me making out with 20 dudes on camera. I just started forgetting the cameras weren't there, so I was like, I make out with everybody.
That's right.
It's kind of the same. And everybody at home
They're
was
like, I work here.
Kaitlyn, I am 60 and I'm
the
one of the
makeup
producers.
person. Just touching you up. What are you doing?
Do you have a pulse? Great. That's so funny. What was the decision making process like when you come up with, because like all the challenges and the pranks and everything are so good, and I just want to know like how you come up with these concepts.
I mean, we started in the very beginning. It was just like social experiment stuff of like, okay, what's weird?
Yeah.
What could we be weird to do? Like, let's try to hold a stranger's hand. Like, it was literally that simple. Like, who could hold it the longest? Let's try that. And from that, it just stemmed out because I think the thing we learned right away was that the public is game for way more than you think. Like, you think like people are gonna like, no, but people are just like game to like help you out. People are nicer than you think. People don't get mad. Like, it's interesting. And you could really just kind of manipulate the whole situation and talk to people and make it become a very funny, you know, thing on the fly. So from the beginning, it literally was that. But then we started thinking about, okay, it's not all about just talking in your ear and saying something.
Right.
What's something we could do? And we came up with a concept, I think it was like season 2 or 3, where if you laugh, you lose.
Yeah,
so
I
then
love
it became
that
about
one.
trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And that was a whole new spark of inspiration. And then we came up with like the presentation bits. We ran that. So we always thought of something different, a different way to do something. And that's how it really just kept going, because every season would start with 6 weeks of pre-production where we just sit in a room like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, kind of
the
thing.
Challenges of not laughing and while you're all in the same room. Like, I couldn't even stop laughing at home.
Yeah.
And I'm watching you guys and I'm like, I could, you know, when you tell somebody not to laugh, you want to laugh.
100%.
And then you're with your friends in a room with strangers. Now, I always think about this because, and I'm sure you do this now too, where you get behind the scenes of certain TV shows. So when you watch a TV show, you think of it differently.
100%.
I watch it and I go, as if these people, and I'm sure this is, again, something people say to you all the time, but I'm like, as if these people like aren't actors, which I'm sure they're not, because I said something on Twitter once years ago and I said that same thing and people were like, my friend, like they approached him on the streets and he's not an actor. And a lot of people said that. But the kids, when you're crossing out their artwork.
Oh, couldn't believe that. That was one of the most cringy things I've ever seen in my life. I wasn't even in the room. I don't know how Q got through that, because I wasn't even in the room. We were 2 rooms away, and I was literally squeezing Sal. We were squeezing each other. I was like, how is he going to do this? He did it. He did it perfectly, to his credit. And I don't think anybody else could have done that as well as him, because everybody had a different approach. But he just wore it on his face like, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Like, and the kids are confused. He's like, I'm as confused as you are. Like, he just had a thing, you know?
So these kids are sitting in a room doing their art classes, and he's just coming in saying, like, you guys are in his ear saying, you got a red X, all these and these kids, like, I'm gonna reference Family Guy again because I always do. But when Stewie like makes his family artwork and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna hang it on the fridge," and then he walks away and they're like, "Oh my God, did you see how stupid this artwork is? We're gonna spit on it." That's what I was like. He's just doing it in front of their faces, and I just remember doing the same thing that you were doing behind the scenes, just cringing, being like, "No, those are real kids. Those weren't actors."
100%. They were kids that we booked a parent and me class to do actually a punishment, actually a challenge where it was like, "Hey, we'll just be art teachers and be weird." So when people came in, I just held a paintbrush up and I was like, "Who wants to paint?" And I was just standing there and people were like, "Not me." But then we just did this thing where we're like, all right, throw this class. And that was just the spontaneity of the show and being comedic and creative and having each other's back. We realized in that moment, it'd be amazing if we just made this a punishment for Q where he just had to X out everybody's paintings and we did it on the fly.
Yeah.
And it just panned out so great.
It's so funny because you think about how each one of you deals with a punishment or with challenges, because I feel like Q is like, I don't know how to explain him, but Murr feels like a big baby. No, not Murr. No. Sal seems like a big baby. Murr seems like he just giggles through a lot of things. Yeah. You just dive in head first and just go for it. Yeah. How would you describe Q?
I would say he's he was definitely got a charm to him, like every man kind of charm to him. Yeah. So I feel like he's got that going for him when he does stuff. But he also has like a quiet confidence to him, which I really, really like about it.
I could see that.
Yeah, he does. Even in like real life,
Really?
Everybody forgets that. Like we're friends in real life, even though that I'm not on the show anymore. Like people are like, "Oh, you're not, oh, you're still friends." I'm like, "Yeah, we're just not coworkers anymore."
Yeah. You're like, we've been friends for
30 years.
Yeah,
I
30
knew them 25 years before the show. You even knew we were friends.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But even like in life, like you get to see people's personalities, and I think that's why it worked. It like wasn't a cast.
Yeah.
You know what you like. You know, just people are like, "Oh, how long could you do this?" I'm like, "Well, think about how long could you laugh with your friends? Forever." Right. So that's all we were doing. So
I mean, but you gotta have bad days. Like there's some days where you wouldn't want to film, but I'm sure that turns the beat around when you're like, I actually don't feel up to this today. But then as soon as you get into it and start laughing, you're like, oh, it's like medicine.
Yeah, we would have to take like powwows in the beginning if somebody had a rough night or day and they came in. We would just like kick everybody out, sit down, talk as friends, be like, "You ready? Okay, you go third."
Yeah.
You watch everybody else go. You see everybody have a good time. And like, when do you want to go? Like everybody would just take their time.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing it. I remember there was one punishment that I had a bad. I was in a relationship and I had a really bad night. And I think we were just like broken up. Yeah. And I was a belly dancer. I had to be a belly dancer.
Yes.
And
it
was my punishment.
Yeah.
And I was just miserable.
Yeah.
And Q was just like, we were talking in the parking lot. He's like, "Just use it." He's like, "It's going to be great." And I look absolutely miserable being this belly dancer. And I was like, if this was any other day, I probably would have owned it and been like just bouncing around doing stuff. I said, but I was genuinely in real life like upset, and I was like, I just used it as part of my motivation. So
yeah, how many hours a day would you guys film?
A lot.
Yeah,
it was a very grueling schedule because they did anywhere from 28 to 31 episodes a season, and so we would do 4 hours. We at least go for like an hour each to get a turn that worked.
And you're probably on the edge of your seat too, because you're like, what are they going to make me do? What punishment?
Well, the worst part is if the people have to sign at the end. Like you could have these, we have so many amazing things that happen that people didn't sign it could never show because they didn't sign it, and it doesn't work with a blur. Like you need to see people's reaction. So half the stuff that we got, like they had these huge reactions and they wouldn't sign.
They're like, "No, I don't want to be on TV." I didn't even think about that.
You go, and then you have to go again. And you have to do it again.
Damn.
Yeah, that's the worst. So your days could turn. Like I remember there was a bunch of days where Sal was pretty unlucky with that sometimes, where like he would have great turns, and then I remember a specific day where we were filming 2 challenges in the same day, and both of Sal's people first turns, which were really good, did not sign. So he had to go again twice in the same day. So it extends Sal's turn for how much everybody gets paid back.
I'd be like, "Look, what's your Venmo?"
We tried everything. We do.
Really?
We try everything. Yeah, we give people. We first thing we would do is we'd buy their food, like wherever we were, like you got your food, and then try to pay. But just some people were just like not into it.
They're like cheating, and with their day, they're like, "I can't be on TV doing this."
People take their mistresses to IKEA all the time. We filmed in IKEA. And I did a bit where I had to run around with a wardrobe, run around and show this guy the wardrobes, the armoires. And I had this guy, and you know how IKEA has that like track?
Yes.
So I'm just start slow jogging, and I start tearing around. This guy's following me. And I'm like, I'm trying to find the armoire. I find it. I get him in it with me. The door shuts. It's just me and him in there. It's dark. And I'm like, "Do you like it? It's spacious." And he goes, "It's nice." And it was hysterical, right? It's over. We get out. And I say, "Hey, we're filming this comedy show." He's like, "Hey, look, this was great. I had so much fun." He's like, "But I'm married." I'm like, "Oh, it's okay." He's like, "But this isn't her." Oh. And he was buying discount Swedish furniture for his mistress, right? So we're like, "Oh man, that was terrible." Then somebody else approached somebody else, and they were there with their side piece as well.
You're kidding.
If you look at that challenge, we don't talk to couples. because we were like, everybody is out here stepping out.
I wonder what the theory is on that one.
I don't know. They have a good return policy if it doesn't work out.
Or they're just like, I know my wife wouldn't shop here.
Yeah, she's not gonna like, oh, I picked up a bookshelf. Nobody knows.
That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's nuts.
Hey, do you hear that? That's the sound of a sale you're missing out on because you're not selling on Shopify. And what does it sound like with Shopify? That's much better. Hear that cha-ching with me when you start selling at Shopify today. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're a garage entrepreneur or IPO ready, Shopify is the only tool that you need to start, run, and grow your business without the struggle. Shopify puts you in control of every sales channel. So whether you're selling satin sheets from Shopify's in-person POS system or offering organic olive oil on Shopify's all-in-one e-commerce platform, you are covered. And once you've reached your audience, Shopify has the internet's best converting checkout to help you turn them from browsers to buyers. Shopify has truly helped take my businesses to the next level. I'm telling you, it's easy to use. I've done it and they have everything you need. So once you start selling, Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment. And Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is truly a global force, powering Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across over 170 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. This is Possibility powered by Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/vine, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/vine to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/vine. What is the worst punishment you think you ever got?
I've done a lot, but I mean, the one that resonates with everybody is when I caught there was Noah Syndergaard from the Mets was signing baseballs and throwing them into the outfield and throwing them before the game into the stands.
Yeah.
And he was in on it and he just kept throwing them to me. And there was all these kids around me and I took the signed baseballs and I had to put them in my fanny pack and tell people they could buy them on eBay.
Yes.
And this mother lost her mind and screamed at me the most. I think it's probably one of the biggest reactions we got from somebody that shut down the whole thing, because normally in your ear you have people, the producers, the other guys being like, okay, this is what you could do. So I just said, guys, what are we going to do here? And as she's going off on me and it's dead silent, I'm like, okay, so I'm in this by myself. And it was like nobody knew what to do, and she really got really upset. But
I'm glad she let you.
Yeah, it worked out. We ended up blurring her, and that was one of the ones where it was like, you know what, we're gonna blur it. But she ended up getting season tickets. She met Noah. It was fine. It all worked out for her. But it was weird because she just had given me she had a 2-year-old baby with her. Yeah. And I said, do you want a baseball for this? She's like, yeah, I really want a baseball for my baby. I said, give me your baby. So she gave me her baby and I'm holding it. I'm like, Noah. And he threw the ball. So I took the ball and I gave her back her child. She's like, thanks. And I took, and I put the baseball away and she goes, give me the baseball. I said, well, you could buy it on eBay. And she flipped out yelling at me, she's yelling at me, how dare you? And I'm like, you just gave me your 2-year-old child for a baseball.
True. Yeah.
I'm like, how am I wrong?
Yeah, this is on you, lady.
Yeah,
how many people just had the most awful reactions, and then when you tell them it's for a comedy show, are they just mortified that they reacted that way?
Some people do get a little bit of the bit, but our show wasn't really about getting people angry. I mean, that was the number one thing.
Right.
It's besides people getting mad, where's the comedy come from?
Right.
Because we were about getting each other. That's the whole idea. We're going to get you, we're going to make you feel bad, weird, whatever. Yeah. So people are always like, oh, you need to show the reactions to people, but you see them because it's us.
Yeah.
So me cringing to say something or just getting through something or whatever, that's really what you're seeing. And most of the people just thought we were weird. We're in New York, first of all.
Right.
Where everybody's
weird. Yeah, that's so true.
The whole city's
you're in
odd.
Good company.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so funny. Yeah. God, I just love it. Okay, this is a weird question, but you'll see where I'm going with this.
Oh, here we go.
If Murr, Q, and Sal were dogs, what dog breed would they be?
I mean, Sal's definitely a golden retriever, right?
Yeah.
Big, lovable.
Sal's got golden retriever energy for sure.
Yeah, Murr is like a Chihuahua because he's a specific taste.
Yeah.
And people either love him or don't get him.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I say Q would be like a Saint Bernard. This big, lovable, or a German Shepherd. He's like an all-American. It's funny, German Shepherd American, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. And my brain didn't even go there. I was like, yes, I understand what you're saying.
The most American dog, a German Shepherd. I think. I think
the what's the Beethoven one?
Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard.
Yeah, Saint Bernard. I feel that's big. Yeah, big.
Yeah,
cuddly.
comical, big, and
bouncing
just
around, a little lazy, a lot of cute. Yeah, like that. I would say a little messy, but cute.
I just know because you love dogs, and I wanted to talk about your foundation because I rescued both of my Goldens from South Korea.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
you got some South Korean dogs up in here.
Yes, nice. I do. I tried to see if they I put on like an app where it spoke Korean to see if they knew like the sit and stuff commands. No.
Okay.
But then I was like, sit, and they did, and I was like, I'm confused. But you have an organization. Tell us about it, because I'm very passionate about dog rescues.
Yeah, it's called Gatto Pups and Friends. We just formed our. It started off as basically a hobby where me and the missus were collecting these dogs that needed a home.
Yeah.
And then it started to turn into a passion where like we could really do some help here. So we formed our nonprofit last year in November. Yeah. It's kind of sort of like out of COVID, like kind of thing where we just started realizing that we could do more. Yeah. And now we start doing adoptions and stuff. And we just adopted out our 35th dog yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, which is great.
Because they're senior dogs and disabled dogs.
Mostly seniors, yeah. They like the one-to-one kind of. We don't really do puppies.
Yeah.
We have the Gatto Pups, which are our like 7 dogs, which are ours that we have, and then we have a bunch.
7 dogs?
Yeah.
I am so jealous.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. They're great, but they're all named after Italian desserts and pasta dishes.
Tell me more. What are they?
Cannoli, biscotti, tartufo, spumoni, Napoleon. We have the brother and sister fettuccine Alfredo, and then we have struffola.
Oh my! That's like my dogs are ramen and Pinot.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm like I have a wine label, so Pinot, and then ramen noodles with Pinot wine sounds great.
It's a good pairing.
It is a good pairing. Yeah. It's my favorite pairing. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. So when did you started in COVID?
We started it like kind of in COVID was in the idea of like we start taking in a lot of dogs, and then I was like after that I was like okay I'm one man here. We got to start to figure out how to do this. And we started like looking at nonprofits, and then we just launched our nonprofit in November and started doing the adoptions out, which is good.
Was it hard to start a nonprofit?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, you could get the paperwork and stuff is easy. There's a lot of like ins and outs of like understanding the whole tax code stuff, but more it's like, okay, now how do I do this?
Right.
So that's what I've been trying to learn now. We actually just got our first space. We got our we got a storefront and adoption center in town out on Long Island where I live in Glen Head. There's a spot right next to my favorite deli and the flower shop, which was this perfect little storefront, and we found it and I was like, hey, and it was up, so we grabbed that.
Amazing.
So people could see the dogs, have some footprint in town, because I really love my community there. And then
that's cool. I bet they love you.
We got it. Yeah, they do. We got a minivan.
We got
an official transport now.
Yep.
Gatto Pups and Friends minivan, rocking that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How can people support?
So on Instagram is mostly how we do most of our stuff, or it's gattopupsandfriends.com, but the Instagram handle, which is linked in my bio and how a lot of people know it, is just Gatto Pups and Friends on Instagram. And you could donate through there. We take volunteers that come help and play with the dogs, feed the dogs, because they're all old ones that just like sit around, need pets.
Honeys.
We foster a lot too, because the older ones are really cool because they just sleep all day.
I would love to foster an older dog.
It's so fun. They were great. Like it really is like people think it's like harder because they're older, but it's not. Like they go outside, they pee, they come in, they lay down, they fall asleep, they wake up and eat. Yeah, and that's it. And they just love getting pet. It's really cool.
And they're just a sweet little companion and like loving. Oh, I love dogs so much. It feels good
too, like it just feels good that you're helping these old ones that are overlooked,
They are overlooked. And especially my girlfriend in Vancouver has a golden who has a wheelchair.
Oh,
it just and the golden wears a little diaper and I'm just obsessed. Like it is so sad that people look over those.
We had a couple of those that had Rotini, was this little hot dog we had that we got adopted out that had the wheels on it. Loved it.
There's nothing cuter because they're still so happy and so lovable and sweet. Oh my gosh.
For sure.
Well, that's cool that you do that. I want to like start giving back more, and I want to learn more about like starting a nonprofit because so my girlfriend and I, we started a book club for the podcast.
Okay.
And we're trying each book that we read, we want to take something away from it and find an organization to donate to.
Oh, so you're doing that for us. Thank you so much.
So, well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, are you?
Well, no, because I'm thinking, have you ever read the book The Art of Racing in the Rain or seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's spoiler alert, it's very sad. But but then I was like, okay, well we could read a book that has to do with dogs and then give back to your organization.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much. It's so sweet of you.
Yeah, you just brought it up. So
kind of forced your hand. Don't want to make it look like too much of a joke. You can be like, no, I was thinking of...
I'm just kidding. I actually was thinking of that. I think that would be amazing.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you also have a podcast.
Yes.
I need to hear about this because when did you start your podcast?
Started my podcast in... probably about a year and a half ago.
Because you guys give out motherly advice, which is hilarious. Two Cool Moms.
It's me and a comedian friend, Steve Byrne of mine. And Steve and I are Both had very strong mothers who gave sound motherly advice, and we think we inherited that trait that we give that. So we spent half the podcast talking about life and our kids and whatnot, or anything basically, whatever we feel like talking about. And then the second half we take fan submitted dilemmas and help solve the world's problems as best we can.
I think that's actually funny though, because a lot of people would think two guys aren't going to know what they're talking about. But now that you say that about your moms and how they were, you probably do have a lot of good advice.
Oh, my mom was the best. Yeah, she was fire. She was great.
Really?
Yeah, she was great. She was this Italian little.
I was going to say, was she just? That's what I pictured.
Yeah, 5'0". All sorts of attitude, Sicilian, crazy, batshit crazy, but she was fantastic.
I think in another lifetime I was supposed to be a batshit Sicilian woman. I actually think that is like me in a past life or in my next life.
Or next one. Maybe you're warming up for it now.
Maybe I'm warming up for it. I've got a lot of the things down for that to be my next life.
Okay, great.
So
You're checking the boxes.
Put me in, coach. Up there. Next life, please. Okay, so that's where the idea came from. And then what kind of motherly advice have you given out? So like what advice would you give for someone who wants to make friends as an adult?
We get that a lot, actually. That's
do?
So funny. Yeah, that's a good one.
God, I am so predictable.
No, you're great. You're fantastic. It's a thing that people do. I mean,
okay.
I've faced that too. It's like the thing that I would always say too is like you have to remember that a lot of your friendship come out of history and convenience. So like you're just like you rely on that. It's actually like why a lot of people that you not necessarily shouldn't be friends with, but don't connect with, are still just friends in your life.
Yeah.
But you don't really necessarily relate to this version of them.
Right.
So I think at this point, a big thing, it depends about like the phase you're in. So I would just say, like we always say, tap into whatever you're doing in your life where you find people. If you're a parent, the kids at school, there's going to be one father or mother that you like. There's going to be one. And it all starts with one.
And you don't need a big group.
You don't need a group. No, you don't. When you're younger, you do. When you're older, you just need somebody, one or two to get together with. But then the other thing too is like, community is the big thing. Like your neighborhood has so many things that you could go to.
Not here.
No.
I crave community with, it's nice to be in Nashville. There's so many younger people around the city, but I'm out here. And
you got to travel inward a little bit. Yeah,
I got to go in. Yeah. I keep putting it off. I bought this house 7 years ago and I keep looking and looking, and then I'm just like, man, I really should have done that 3 years ago. But here we are. But community, that's a good
Just
good
doing like things like what did you make friends here?
Yes.
Or were they friends from elsewhere that came here, or were
no? So it was the girl who does my Botox.
Okay, there you go.
She had
Botox Betty, love her. Shout out.
Botox Betty. And she had a Botox boat day, and she brought out a bunch of her girlfriends, and then I met people through that.
Girls do that, huh? They do a Botox party.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
It's a thing.
That's so funny.
It's a thing. I mean, don't trust anybody out there. Please the Botox parties, like where people throw. I'm like, please, Lord God, don't do that. But if your friend is a Botox queen and she owns her own business, then you could have one. You just don't trust anybody out there.
Yeah, don't pick. If there's a flyer in your car when you're at the Kroger's, steer clear.
Steer clear of that one. Yes, do your research because I used to go in Vancouver when I lived in Vancouver for 11 years.
Vancouver.
Oh, I was just there 5 days ago.
Oh, right?
Yes,
awesome.
I lived there for.
I just toured. Yeah, I went from Victoria to Vancouver in a seaplane. Which I had never done, which is so cool. When we landed, we took a ferry from Seattle, which was so cool, to Victoria. Yeah. And then when we pulled into the port, there was seaplanes, and I was like, we had an Air Canada flight, and I'm like, can I get on this to go to? And they're like, yeah. I was like, cancel the Air Canada, and we went on a seaplane. It was
Isn't
so
it fun?
Cool, so fun. And Vancouver's great.
And where you land in Vancouver,
so gorgeous. Yeah.
I love it there so much. It's one of my happy places, and especially when the weather's good. Like, were you there when it was nice?
Yes. Yeah, it was a really nice day.
Nothing beats it.
No, you got that. We did a lot of shopping too. Hit it hard there.
Street?
Yeah, it was up there. The dollar was in our favor. I crushed it.
Yes, I know. I thought that same thing. I was like, damn, I don't have time for shopping. Wait, what was I going to say?
Sorry, I apologize.
I don't
it's
remember.
Because we don't really know each other, so we're actually talking just to get to know each other too.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I forget. I mean, see, you forget the cameras are on.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm moving on, but I really want to come back to that thought. Vancouver ferry.
No, the ferry was me. You said you were up in Vancouver 5 days ago.
I lived in Vancouver for 11 years.
We're talking about Botox.
Thank you. We're back. Okay.
There you are.
I was on Robson Street shopping and I saw this med spa, whatever for the face. And I was like, I was 24 or 25 and I was like, I could get rid of some wrinkles. I went up there, and now looking back on the photos, oh my gosh, I was botched. My eyelids and eyebrows were just drooping down completely, but I had no wrinkles on my forehead, so I thought I was like, I guess that's just what's
Nailed
supposed
it.
to happen.
Check me out. Look at this. This looks great, guys.
I'm like, I don't have wrinkles anymore. I'm like, I feel, yeah, it was bad, but yeah, don't trust Kroger flyers is the moral of the story.
That's it.
All right, now, ladies, summer is the worst time to suffer with an uncomfortable bra. Ever heard of swoob? Sweaty boobs? Yeah, okay, enough said. Thankfully, Honeylove has revolutionized the bra game. Upgrade from traditional bras that use uncomfortable underwire and bulky fabrics that trap in that heat. Honeylove's bras feature supportive bonding that eliminates the need for underwire without sacrificing lift. Plus, they're made with fabric that's so soft that I never want to take it off. You'll immediately feel and see the difference. This is next level comfort, Balins, okay? And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with my exclusive link, honeylove.com/vine. I think we all know that feeling after a long day when you get home and you immediately want to take off your bra. It was always the first thing I would do. Well, with Honeylove, you'll never experience that ever again. Nope, because you'll forget you even have that bra on. And if you're like me, you might even sleep in it. I really have. Tuck the girls in at night, you know? Night-night. And Honeylove has more than just bras. They have incredibly comfortable shapewear, tanks, and leggings for everyday support. So what I do is I pair the V-bra with their breathable and versatile leggings for the ultimate lounge set. You need this comfort in your life. I'm telling you, you've earned it. You know, you've earned it. Treat yourself to the best shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/vine. Use my exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/vine. Cinched, snatched, and lifted. It's hot girl season thanks to Honeylove. All right, speaking of swoob, guys, this summer heat has got me swoobing. What's wrong with me? Especially with the temperature reaching 100 degrees a couple weeks ago. Luckily, there is a way to summer-proof your body odor, okay? That's why I'm excited to tell you about Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. Lumi was created by an OBGYN who developed a uniquely formulated pH-balanced deodorant. It's aluminum-free. We love that. Skin-safe, clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. How's that possible, you're asking? Well, unlike some deodorants that try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. More like a pre-odorant, okay? It's also clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. So fun fact for you. 12 hours after a shower, the average person has an odor level of 6 out of 10. But with Lumi, the average odor is a 0 out of 10. 0. Okay, now I love Lumi's starter pack because it has everything you need, and it comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice. I got the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes. The lavender sage scent. Yes, it's my favorite. With the hot days that we've had lately, it's been nice to just be able to use these products anywhere on my bod. Unexpected behind the knee sweat, you know, dab a little cream deodorant on it. Voila, no more sweaty girl summer. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, thighs, folds, belly buttons, feet, you name it. As a special offer for Off the Vine listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with code VINE at lumideodorant.com. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when you visit lumideodorant.com and use code VINE. What about the person who has tried dating apps and can't find a partner? What should they do?
That's always tricky. I mean, I never really got the app.
I've never done an app.
Yeah, I never did the app stuff. I had missed that, and then I think it's just too late. But I would say, you know, for me, it was like, I don't think you meet people in bars or whatnot. And I think at my age, rather, because I'm way older than you. But at my age, I think, like, or if you're in your 30s and 40s, I think it's the best is through friends and just try and make it like an organic kind of deal.
I will say, though, my mom, she was in her 50s when she met my stepdad, seniors.com.
Wow.
And it killed her because she is like a beautiful, spicy, like thinks she's 30 forever. Yeah. And it killed her to go on seniors.com. But
it worked.
It worked out for them.
Yeah, my mom became a widow pretty early in life. She became a widow, and then when she did, she started her own dating thing in Staten Island. Like, it was before this. Like, she put her ad in the paper, said, "Hey, if you're single, come to this restaurant that she knew." People came, and she started just doing these mixers, and she met people that way. Like, it was like before, like, the internet was like a thing to meet people.
The newspaper, remember that?
She did. I know she used to rock out the newspaper, and she did Single Faces. That was the name of it. Oh, I've never even thought of this until now. Single Faces was the name of it, and it was all for widow and widowers that got together and stuff. Yeah, and she met her half a gangster boyfriend through that. Yeah, it was great in Staten Island. Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, that is funny. Wow.
So I guess you do what you have to do is the takeaway.
You know what? That's the advice right there. You do what you got to do.
Yeah. I would say too, like, don't be afraid to try too, because a lot of it is like you get in your own head and you get in your own way too, especially when you're older and you think about, oh, then what are they going to like about me or whatnot? Like, just have confidence and give it a shot.
Confidence is everything.
Absolutely.
How about advice for someone whose roommate smells like BO all the time?
Oh, I terrible. I had that in college. I moved.
You know what? Move. Burn the house down.
Move. Honestly, get another roommate. Roommates.com. Like, go get a sponsorship, but go get like another roommate. You don't have to like anybody that much. I mean, you could have. I've had talks with friends where it was like, hey, just so you know, your breath's bad.
Yeah.
Constantly,
oh God, I would love if
like
somebody
that.
told me that. Like.
Oh yeah, like the
I would
BO
hate if somebody told me that, but I would love
Is
if
that
they
what
were.
you're looking for?
I'm like, oh, that's my
great
dream.
pickup line.
That's the dream right there.
But I think part of it is like, you got to be good enough friends with somebody, and I'm assuming if they're roommate to do that. But like, some people just won't change too.
Yeah.
Like, some people just might have a stench to them.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio, I heard he smells.
Heard that, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you were
I
like,
did now. I did now from you, but I've never heard that.
Oh, you heard that too, eh? I was like, no, I heard. Well, I think he's like an all natural kind of guy.
Oh, gotcha.
So
he's got a musk.
He's got a musk, which I would drink it if he asked me to. So no complaining there. Someone whose friend is dating someone they cannot stand.
I mean, you can give friendships breaks. You can, like, you can just be like, you're allowed to remove yourself from a friendship for a moment in time. And I think people forget that, and then they end up killing a friendship. Yeah, so I would say it's important to remember, like, to give people their spaces or exploring this new thing. And the reason why you hate them, you have to remember this too, is like, you can't hate somebody for your friend if your friend is in love with somebody. That's like, true. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's not your circus. And
you can always have honest conversations if they're your friend about like setting boundaries. Like, okay, I don't like the person you're dating, but I respect that you like them right now. So,
have you ever had to do that? Have you ever had to talk to somebody about?
Never.
Believable.
I'm very convincing.
I think honestly, and I think it's a man and woman thing too. I think men are more accepting of someone's mate just because girls girl up and they're like, you could do so much better. And guys are like, hey, are you happy? All right, then that's it. It comes from a different place. True. Like, I think girls like really are women speak to the potential of a woman, where men just look at the state that men are in. And I think I've
never heard that perspective before, and that is so bang on.
Oh, thanks. See? Yeah.
That's real.
Two cool moms. Check it out.
I was gonna say.
I told you good advice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Put
I
that
think about
in the
this
clip.
stuff. I think about this stuff a lot. Yeah. You can't help but.
That's so true. I feel like women are constantly like wanting to, like, evolve as people, and men are just so content with being like, well, I'm happy right now, which is they're both great.
Both are great perspectives.
Both are great perspectives.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a quick game before I let you go. And you're in Nashville because you're doing your live podcast here tonight.
Live podcast here, yeah, and I tour with Joe Gatto's Night of Comedy, and I start up again in the fall. So I'll be doing that.
Oh, so you start the tour starts in the fall.
I took the summer off. So
is there a website where people can see when you come to them?
Yeah, it's joegattoofficial.com. It's got my tour dates, and then also my Instagram's got everything.
Okay, great, love it. Okay, quick game, this or that, super easy.
Oh, here we go.
Out of these,
that.
Well, shave off your eyebrows or dye your hair and facial hair green.
Oh, definitely dye. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like you'd look less weird if it looks like a bad choice, or you could come up with a fun story, but no eyebrows, that's bizarre.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a look right now for some people. I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel like people are like bleaching their eyebrows and like shaving them off. I don't know. It's weird. Walk around Central Park screaming, I'm ugly and I'm proud, or sit cross-legged in the middle of Times Square.
I've done both. So this and that. Times Square is gross.
It's so
I do everything I can to avoid Times Square.
It really is gross.
Yeah, so I'd have to take this.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. I don't know what it's... And it creeps me out.
Have you been to Times Square lately?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, New York.
Square. It's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Like the people that are in the mascot costumes just traumatizing children, taking off their heads all the time and like smoking a cigarette. I'm like,
you don't look like Elmo, sir.
No, you do not. You're scaring me. You're what nightmares are made of.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, try to convince people on the street to adopt bizarre and imaginary animals as pets, or lead a yoga class with inappropriate poses.
I've actually literally done both of those on the show.
I know.
Yeah, definitely the yoga. I mean, my body is a weapon. I love. I would love to. Yeah,
body
it's
is a
definitely
weapon.
weapon of comedy. I love that.
I love that. Okay. Again, you're gonna be like, done it. Teach children about dog cremation or paint X's across children's artwork in an art class.
Cremation, dog cremation, definitely
Really?
for sure. Yeah, I mean the X's was tough.
Oh, it really was.
That was rough. Yeah,
I still cringe thinking
that room
about
was
that
so
one
quiet.
episode.
Yeah.
Wait, there's another thing I want. Oh, confessions. Okay, so this is Crocodile Dentist. Do you remember this game?
Vaguely.
It's like from the 90s, and you'd have to like pull out their teeth and he snaps down.
Right.
But this you just press down, and whoever it bites has to tell a confession.
Whoever it bites has to tell a confession.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pick a tooth.
That was quick.
It scares me every time. Okay.
Did you not know that was going to happen?
You lose. Tell me a confession.
A confession. I don't know. I'm a pretty open book.
I know. I thought about this for you, and I'm like, how is he going to confess something that we haven't either watched or seen or heard you talk about?
For sure. I will say I wet the bed till I was 14 years old.
That makes me want to give you a hug.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I wet the bed. I don't think I really spoke about that too much.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, do you want to dive into it? Like, was there something happening where
My mom was so mad. She was like, always, she'd be like, "You're 14. Stop being in the bed."
Were you just lazy?
No, I don't know what it was. I think it's actually kind of hereditary because my dad had a problem too, and now I worry for my son Remington. but
you're probably more forgiving when your son. Now you're like, I get it, son.
Yeah,
I get it.
I get it. I'm with you. It's all right. Yeah, my mom wasn't peeing in the bed
Thoughts
when
and
she
prayers
was
for the pee in your pants community. Oh my God, that's
we need a support group.
Yeah, you do. I'm sure there's a Facebook group for it
sure.
somewhere. I was gonna tell. I'm just telling you my confession, anyways. It's actually not that bad because to try and confess something every podcast is so hard for me to do. But I was like, oh my God, I was so desperado, thirsty on your Instagram live or a TikTok live or something once. I was like, hey.
Really?
Yes!
Oh.
I wanted you to notice me so bad that I was like, I don't think I've ever done that to anybody and I was just like, hey, do you watch the Bachelor?
That's so if I saw it, I would say hello. I did it. I mean, I was so looking forward to doing this. Well,
there
great.
was so many comments coming in on your thing. I was like, he's never going to see it. But that's why I kept being a loser and being like, bah!
Did you copy and paste it?
No.
Oh,
can you do that?
Yeah, copy and paste.
I should have done that.
That's the easiest.
No, because I knew other people would see, so I was like, at first I was like, I probably said something stupid like Larry, and they're like, good one, and they're like, avoid all Larrys. Oh my God.
It filtered out.
You're probably like, that's enough. Okay, well, I'm excited for people to come watch you in the fall. Are you going to come back to Nashville?
I will be in the area. I'm not going to be doing Nashville, but
in the area.
You have to come on a road trip.
Would you like Murr and you're just going to ghost me?
No, I'll actually keep talking to you if you like, but you have to talk to me outside of your TikTok lives because I'm not going to see you. But
okay, that's fair. Well, that's why I invited you today, so I could get your number and I don't have to be desperate on your TikTok lives. Gotcha. My God. Okay, well, tell everybody where they can find you. I'm on Instagram at Joe_Gatto, on TikTok as well. Actually, if you just go to my Instagram, it's got my link. It's got everything. Yeah. And then you can watch Two Cool Moms old episodes now on my YouTube channel. And then, of course, Gatto Pups and Friends is give us some support. We appreciate it. That's so cool. I love that you have a dog rescue. Mm-hmm. I was like, I didn't know that until I did some research for this podcast. But that's awesome. And do you know Ariel Vandenberg? I do. Yeah. Yes. We were just talking about you the other day. Oh, were you? Yes. Yes, yeah. This can be off. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. When I do pregnancy photos with people, like their pregnant wives, and like, could you make it as big as hers? I feel like I can't see it. I'm still gonna do it. Does it hurt you to do this? No, you? Yeah. I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe. I'll see you next Tuesday. See you next